turning around in a hurry, hoping you will come along. I'm running as fast as I can, in a desperate need of a plan. It's the work of one little man. I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man?
One thing you may remember from previous videos is the importance that I place on preventive maintenance checks and services. Now, that's a term that I learned while I was in the military, and the importance of PMCS is beyond just being able to check your vehicle to make sure that it's ready, but to continue with that last part, services, because if you're just doing the preventive maintenance checks, all you're doing is identifying the problem. It's the services, the time that you put in replacing the parts that need to be replaced, fixing the items that are broken, or obviously verifying that the fluid levels are where they need to be, and if they need to be adjusted, doing that. No one enjoys being stuck on the side of the road. So my PMCS usually includes washing the windows, checking all of the fluids, verifying the levels on the tires, and just overall lights and turn signals and things like that, just to make sure that it is completely roadworthy. One of the things that I thought that was pretty exceptional about this site, which is obviously maintained by the New Mexico Youth Conservation Corps, is they used all of the natural resources and the terrain to build something that was really pretty cool. As you can see, there are rocks that kind of form a wall right here, and a ton of rocks up there all the way up and around this site. But interestingly enough, there's springs on this hill that basically come down and feed into the Rio Grande, and what they've done is they've been able to collect it and create a little botanical garden here. This is marshy. You can actually look and you can see water right in here, and then of course it's muddy over here, and it's standing water throughout here, just coming down from the hill, and would be leading down into the Rio Grande, but they've collected a little bit of it here and created a botanical garden. That is really cool. I don't know about you, but when I find a spot that I really enjoy, it's actually difficult to get up and leave. Now, in the mornings, whenever I'm getting up and getting ready, there are some things that I have to take care of and some things that I need to take care of. And in many cases, sometimes one or the other ends up getting put by the wayside. Now, PMCS obviously is not one of them, but editing might be, and of course route planning is also something that I do in the morning. I usually kind of fly by the seat of my pants as far as where I'm going, but I definitely don't want to just drive wandering around. I want to try to identify a route and either stick by that route or adjust that route as I go, but at least kind of have a plan. And in many cases, what I'm doing is I'm just taking out the atlas and I'm identifying my route, and then again, as I said, adjusting it as necessary. Now, editing is definitely a plus if I can actually spend some time in the morning to do that. I did have some editing that I needed to get done this morning, and thankfully I had plenty of time to do it. It's always good to be able to get as much done, even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes worth of editing done. It is at least a step in the right direction for organization and preparation for the coming week. It might not look like it here, but the Rio Grande River is a mighty river that begins just a few miles north of here. which just so happens to be exactly where I'm heading this morning. Also known as the Rio Bravo, the Rio Grande River begins its journey in the heart of the San Juan Mountains near Alamosa, Colorado. Rio Grande Gorge. I never would have thunk it, but apparently this is the Rio Grande at the mouth. So, or at the mouth, certainly at its strength. Way north of Brownsville. A bit of a hike to get to it, but pretty cool. Check it out. As you can see from this view, the river has experienced its ebbs and flows. The sides of the gorge show the strength of this mighty river and its ability to cut through this landscape on its way to the mouth of the river near the town of Brownsville in South Texas, ultimately flowing into the Gulf of Mexico. I can't help but think of the Grand Canyon and the Colorado River as I gaze upon this spectacle. It really is breathtaking when you think of the amount of water required to carve this gorge. I know it's a stretch to compare this to the Grand Canyon, but standing here, I struggle to fully accept that this video can capture the grandeur of this view. As I mentioned before, I was a short drive from Alamosa, Colorado, and I was able to provision and get to BLM land that is actually just right across the street from the location of the gutted event. Now you might notice as I show you the sunset and then the sunrise of the area that it is almost surreal. The landscape is very similar to what I would expect the moon to look like, with the exception of the vegetation that you see. It's a very fine powder and it works well for what I was looking for, just a place to sleep. But as I mentioned in a previous video, the location when you put a lot of people in it was less than ideal.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down,